Good morning. Well, no, actually, good afternoon. I'm not even really sure if anyone's going to join me today because I very last minute put out a post about half an hour ago to say, I'm going live. And yeah, so it could just be me. And you might be watching this later on replay on YouTube. But anyway, why am I live today? Well, I'll tell you why I'm live today. Yesterday, I recorded the video. And it was a good 35 minutes of me chit-chatting away, and that was fine. Hello, somebody's here. Oh my gosh. So, if you're here, say hello, so at least I know you're here. Um, yeah, so yesterday, as I was saying, I did this live, recorded a video, and, 35 minutes of me chit-chatting away, talking all about my projects and what have you. And then I did a video tutorial on how to put together cotton cuts clue number five. And I got all that done. And then I went out for lunch with some friends, so I couldn't work on it again. So then I came back and tr- hey, Michelle, how are you? So then I came back. Oh, Toby wants up. 1 minute. Come here, Toby. Here's Toby. Toby's joining us. Yay! So I went upstairs and here, go that way, buddy. Go that way. Then I can hold you and drink my tea at the same time. Or maybe not. Yeah, now I can drink my tea. So I did this video. I did the whole tutorial of putting cotton cuts together, clue 5. Went out for lunch, came home, decided I would try to upload it to, because from my phone to my laptop, so I could edit it, because editing takes ages. Well, you think it would upload to my laptop? No. I tried every which way. I even plugged it in with one of these magic little, things. Plugged it in, tried to make it sync that way. No, wasn't having any of it. So I thought, okay, I'll just airdrop it. So I tried to airdrop it, and no, it wouldn't even airdrop. So I gave up. I deleted the whole thing and thought, I'll just go live today and do the whole video again, minus the cotton cut so long. So here we are. So what's everybody up to? I see we got 3 people joining us. Look at the Tobies. Oh, it's not nice outside today. It's all smoky again outside. Okay, Toby, you have to sit behind me, buddy. There you go. Yeah, it's all smoky outside again, which is really good for the old lungs. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So I do have my notes from yesterday. So we're just gonna dive in and talk about what's been going on. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you all about was around the kitchen table, which is a mystery that I've been doing for what block are we on with that? I think I'm behind, of course. I'm always behind. I've just completed 7, and I think 8, 9, 10. I think they're up to 10 right now, and they release them each month. So you get a new block to sew, and all the blocks are different, which is what I really like. And I have no idea how these are all going to get put together into a quilt because they're all different sizes. Hmm. And along with each block, you get an actual puzzle to solve, like an actual word search or crossword. You get a puzzle, and you also get a story, a chapter in a story about. Well, that's going to link all the blocks, I guess. But here's the funny thing. I couldn't figure it out for the longest time, and it finally dawned on me where we were going with this. But anyway, so when you join, and you can't, at one point you could sign up to do a monthly payment, which is what I'm doing, or you could do the whole year and pay in one lump sum for it. So I think the monthly is off the table with this particular sew along, but there is a new one starting in July, I think. I forget what that one's called though. But this one, you can still sign up for if you're interested, and you'll just have all the clues all there, and they're there forever. So you can go back and do them whenever you want to. And you get this little thing. Oh yeah, I'm on my laptop, so I have to remember where the camera is. Um, so you get a page where you put in all the fabrics that you're going to use, which are numbered, because every clue will start with you're going to need fabric 4, fabric 7, fabric 2, fabric 9, something like that. So you need to look at this to work out what fabric you're going to be using. And this was the first one. I'm just going to go over them all again for you so you can see. This was oh yeah, wrong side. This was the first one. And obviously this is the kitchen table. And it was very cute. And it is, what is that word I'm looking for? Applique. Oh, wrong camera angle. Applique. It's hard to see that, but anyway, so this was the first one that we did. We also then, while we were waiting for the next clue, had to make a bunch of filler blocks. So those are our filler blocks. We had to make 26 of these little blocks. And we had got a template for them. So we worked off a template. So that was very cool. Then the next block was this one, and we had to make 3 of those. These are pinwheels. So we started off nice and easy. Oh, that's my husband or somebody. Hang on. I'm going to turn that ringer off so we shan't be interrupted. Then we did this one, which is a jar of jam. And my background fabric, if you can see, has little ferns or flowers or something. So that was the next one. And then this was the following one. And then I think I like stopped sewing because in the winter I don't sew much because I'm in the basement and it's very cold in the basement during the winter time in Canada. So I don't sew down in the basement. But now it's the summertime and it's nice and cool compared to the rest of the house. So I started back up again with this one, and this was super interesting because this one is a paper piecing. Couldn't think of the word then. Paper piecing, and I'd never done paper piecing. So this was super, super cool. And I really did enjoy the paper piecing. Yeah, I did. The next project we did the next month was this one. And this one again is applique. And I really enjoyed that. And it's funny how it makes it so much thicker when you're using applique, because I guess of well, yeah, because you've got 2 pieces of fabric, right? One on top of each other. And you stitch them on. But I like to applique 2, and we had to make 2 of them and then 2 of these. One with red handles and one with black handles. But again, see, these are completely different sizes from some of those other blocks. How is this going to go together? I don't know. I'm telling you, these girls are good. And now, of course, my husband is calling me. My earrings, my phone is ringing, and my phone over there is ringing. My watch is ringing, my phone is ringing. It's like, really? Really? And then this was the last block I did, which I think is block 6, I think, or 7, till we gave up. And this was nice because this is applique and it's piecing. So this was really nice to put together. I did enjoy that one. Isn't that pretty? And again, look how big this block is. How are they going to fit together? Obviously, we're going to use those filler blocks, but I just still can't imagine. And that's what I love about mysteries. When you're doing a quilt and it's the mystery of, putting it all together, how the blocks are gonna go, and, I just love that. So, that is my kitchen table, and that actually started last September. So, I still have 3 blocks to catch up, and then hopefully I'll be all up to date with that one. Um, so the other, one I've been working on, other than in the winter time, was the Design and Mystery from Fat Quarter Shop, and that is a really super nice, one. I'm enjoying that immensely, and I have signed up for the next one. Yes. And, that one consists of every month you get a little package of fabric and in the mail, and, it is is so much fabric in this package. There's enough to make your block, but there's then enough left over to use again for something else. And what I started doing in the last 3 blocks that I've got, because I have all the blocks now, I just haven't put them all together yet. I still have 3 to do. And what I had planned to do with those is, instead of using the fabric that came in that package, because sometimes it's like a fat quarter, sometimes it's a fat eight, sometimes it's just a different offcut. So I went back and started using the same colors from the leftovers and was able to cut them out, so I didn't have to cut into the new packages, because then I'll have enough from that to maybe do another quilt. Not the same quilt, but something else that uses all kinds of different, fabric, because this fabric line is amazing. This fabric line is called Nantucket Summer, and I am loving this fabric line. So this is the first one in the block that we did. Now, I bought the finishing kit, and the finishing kit was it was expensive, but I did buy it because I loved the fabric. And again, I have tons of stuff left over from the finishing kit. What is a finishing kit? Okay, so when you get the regular block to sew, it is just literally that. Oops, that was the block that we had with no border around the outside edge. So the finishing kit gives you enough fabric to do a border, and shows you, let me see if I can find it, what your quilt will look like using the finishing kit. So this is what the quilt will look like, and you've got extra fabric to make these blocks here. So we had to make 8 log cabin blocks and 5 star blocks. And those then get put into this rotation, and each time you get a new block from a new designer, this is where they're going to go in your quilt. So I really love that. And so, of course, in order to get that design, you have to put all these borders on, and that's what came in the package. So here was the first one. Now, I don't actually know if these are all in the right order. I don't think they are, because once I'd made them all, I just put them up. Isn't that cool? So these are all those that I have done. I love that one. I love star blocks. That's like a star within a star. Isn't that nice? I love star blocks. And then there's this one. And then there is this one. They're so pretty. And each block is designed by a different designer. So there are 12 designers who are all in their own right quite famous in the quilting world. Now, some of my points don't match, but hey, I don't care. It's my quilt. It's going on my bed. Who's going to sit there and check out all my points? To me, it's just the joy and beauty of stitching these. And one thing I've learned is I love piecing. Okay, come on, you. I mean, who doesn't? Like, I love cutting I generally cut a block the night before, and then I sit down the next day and sew it. Look at that one. That was super cool to make. And it looks hard, but it isn't. It isn't hard. And then these were the 5 blocks we had to make, the 5-star blocks. And then these were the 5 log cabin. I'd never done a log cabin before. And this was, well, it was different because you had the middle part with the star thingy bobs in the middle. And so those are the design and mystery. Now, a lot of people on the group page had put all their blocks together as they were going. So the because they had this, they were, adding all their blocks together in one row and doing a second row and doing a third. And I laid mine out on the wall to do that. And then I changed my mind and I didn't sew them together. And the reason I didn't sew them together was because one of the ladies on the group page was doing Quilt as You Go. And I thought, oh, what's Quilt as You Go? And I got kind of interested in, fell down a rabbit hole and Quilt as You Go, and bought a book and everything. And I've decided I'm going to do my quilt as Quilt as You Go because this quilt, believe it or not, is going to be 80.5 by 80.5. That's a big quilt. That's like a quilt. That's without a border on it. If I decide to put a border on it, it's going to be bigger. And that is like big enough for the queen size bed. And I love piecing. I don't know if I love quilting as much, especially when you're trying to get it under your sewing machine, which is just a standard. Mine's just a Brother. It is a quilting machine, but it's just it's not a long arm. It's not a special tabletop quilting thing. It's just a sewing machine. And I have tried other times to sew. Has anybody else done that? Has anybody else quilted on their domestic sewing machine, a big quilt? Let me know in the live chat below. If you don't know how to access the live chat, by the way, you click on live chat at the top of your YouTube. Like if you have to put me not full screen. So if you're on a computer or something, you can't be full screen. You have to put it normal little. And then you'll see a bunch of things and it'll say live chat. If you click on the live chat, down the side will become all the chit chats. So I'll just type in right now, hello. And you'll be able to see hello show up. And then at the top of that, it'll say top chat. If you click on that, you can go to all so that way you're not just seeing the odd chat that YouTube think you should see. Yes. So that way you can say hello to me and we are actually live. It's 12:18. I'm actually here today. This is not a pre-recorded. That was a long story. You'd have to go back and watch if you've just joined. So I forgot what I was saying now. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, has anybody quilted on a big quilt on their domestic sewing machine? Because I just find it terribly challenging. Yes, I've done smaller quilts, like table toppers or wall hangings. Yes, I've done table runners and I've done a baby quilt. Did I enjoy it? No, I did not enjoy doing it. So the last quilt that I made, I've got like 3 quilts to do that have not been quilted yet. The top is all done and they've not been because long arming, while it's easy and great to send it to your long arm, it gets expensive. And when we're all on a budget and we're all just doing what we can with the scraps that we've got, the last thing you want to do is send it out to a long armer and spend an arm and a leg. Well, I do. I'm cheap. So I thought, okay, I've got to get over this. You've got to learn how to do some kind of quilting on your sewing machine. That's why you've got it. So as I say, I saw this lady who did it and I thought, this is super cool. I'm going to try it. So that's why I have not put together these blocks because I'm going to quilt them all individually. And my plan for them is, so say for example, hey, say for example, this one, I was thinking, okay, how would I quilt that? So I can either do a stitch in the ditch, or not a stitch in the ditch, echo stitching, which is easy because you're just following your seam line along. You just place your foot and then you just, so you'd end up doing, around your seam lines. Oh, I can't point with this camera. Let me do it that way because it keeps wanting to fold. Like I would just stitch within these triangles. Okay, and move your frame there. Oh, no. This is super hard. Can I do it with a pen? No, I can't do it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to stitch around each of like the triangles and just do a stitch in the echo stitch. Then I thought, okay, well maybe I could just do like cross hatches. So you're going all one way and then you're going all the other way. Maybe I can do that. So those are some of the ideas I'm coming up with to stitch each block. And again, the way you do it is you take your block, you take a piece of batting about a half an inch bigger than your block. Then you take a piece of background fabric, not background fabric, I always call it that, backing fabric. They need to find another word for backing fabric and background fabric because I always get them mixed up. So backing fabric, the fabric that goes in the back, and you cut that about an inch bigger on your block, I think. And then you pin them all together or you spray base the glue together and then you put it underneath your sewing machine and that's what you sew. And then you do each block individually like that. And then you can sew each block together, do some fancy strip work on the back of the backing fabric. Yes. And that's how you put your quilt together. The other way you can do it is what the one lady did that I saw. She sewed all 4 pieces together in a row. More about that later. And then she put a big strip of background, a big strip of batting, and batting, the top, the batting, the backing fabric. I hate that word. I really don't like it. The fabric for the back. And then she did the whole strip. But I was thinking that would be kind of cool because you don't have such a big piece under your machine. You've just got 4 or 5 blocks, a row, right? Which you could also, if you're doing echo stitching like I want to do, and I'll use a ruler for that, a ruler and a ruler foot. So you don't actually, I could do it going over that way. So the block is just the one block. And then I go to the next block and I either pull it forward towards me or shove it that way. So I thought that was a good way to do it. And then the third way is when you put a sashing on the front and a sashing on the back, and the sashing is what joins each block. So anyway, I thought this was all terribly, terribly interesting. So I fell down that rabbit hole, as you can tell. And I've decided to take apart one of my quilts that I had sewn up that has been sitting for a year. Well, not quite a year. I finished it last September. So it's been sitting, waiting to be quilted. And I took it apart. And I'll show you why later. Okay. Have you all got your cups of tea? Are you all happy? I think mine's gone cold. So next thing I wanted to show you so that was the kitchen table and the designer mystery. The next thing was Haunted Halloween. Now, Haunted Halloween is a free pattern put on by the Fat Quarter Shop. And they're an online quilting store. And they also sell a lot of cross-stitch stuff too. So what that is each week, and it started last Tuesday, not this Tuesday just gone, the Tuesday before. And for 4 weeks, you're going to get a new block pattern, which will become a Halloween quilt. It's called Haunted Halloween, but it's just small. I think it's 30 by 30. That means a wall hanging, or you can put it on your table, hang it in the window. Like it's not for a bed. So I'm making it, and I made one last year. Oh, here's last year's. Let me show you last year's because it's waiting to be quilted. It's right here. I think I showed this last week on the Quilty Fun, but for those just joining, welcome in all my new people, by the way. So this was last year's. So the purple kind of threw me at first, but the purple background fabric. See, I still can't get it right. So this was last year's, and you can buy the kit from them, which had all this fabric in, because I don't have much Halloween fabric. And it came with the back king fabric and all the rest of the fabric and the binding. So that was last year. So we still haven't done that. The one before that was Bats and Booze, which I loved, and that hangs up actually all the time in my dining room. That was a bigger quilt, though. This one, again, is just a smaller quilt. And so I thought I'd give one of these two quilts, so the one I'm making now, and that one I made last year, to both my boys. And they can either hang them in their house as a Halloween decoration, or the kids can have them on their beds because they're going to be teeny tiny quilts. So this one is called Haunted Halloween, and you can go and get this free this free fabric requirement list off of their website. And again, you can use your own if you want, but these were what I got in my package from them. And the first block I have done, which is this one. Oh, so it was this one. Isn't that sweet? I love bats. Well, actually, I don't love bats. I love sewing them. And then we had to make one of these. These are sawtooth stars, I think. And this one. So these three were block one. And again, we don't know how they're going to fit yet. But this was block one, from week one, I should say. And then this Tuesday just gone, they released another one, which is a cat. But I haven't cut that out yet or sewn that one. But that's how Haunted Halloween is going. And there is a cross stitch to go with it. And of course, I'm doing that too. And that's free. So here is my cross stitch at the moment. Oh, my scissors are on the back. Can I take them off? And there is a bat that goes here for week one. So week one was the bat, and then this half of something. I don't know if that's a moon or if it's going to be a pumpkin. I don't know. And of course, you can see this is obviously going to say happy. And there are two color oranges there. Now, I didn't have the color that they called for. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of here. I didn't have the color that they called for. And so I just used my own. And again, this is a free sew along. Here is the requirements for yarn. I'm just using DMC, and I'm using 14 count Icelandic gray, which is what I had in stash. And they used pistachio, which is kind of green. I don't know if green is it for me for Halloween. But so I'm using the Icelandic gray, which is what I had left over, believe it or not, from when I did Bats and Booze 2 years ago. So that is my haunted Halloween. So it's nice to get back into cross stitch. Anybody else cross stitch? Yeah, it's nice to get back into it. It's been ages since I'd cross stitched. Again, since like December, I feel like as soon as I get to Christmas time, I don't want to cross stitch and I don't want to quilt. All I want to do is get under some yarn and knit, and stay warm. It's kind of weird, eh? Does that happen to you? Do you have like seasons of crafting things? It's very weird. Anyway, so then I wanted to tell you about the quilt I'm taking apart, which is called, let me find it in my book here, because I have a book. This is the book I have. I got it at the Fat Quarter Shop ages and ages ago. There. And you can write everything in that you're working on when you started. So that was Bats and Booze, the very first one I ever did. I love that one. So this one is called The Garden Path. And let me see if I can find a photograph to show you of it on my phone, because I want albums, favorites. This is a picture of it. And this fabric I got in Halifax. My son moved to Halifax at the start of the pandemic with his wife. And they have since have little Leo and baby Bump. And I love Halifax. I love the East Coast. So I bought that fabric and I made that quilt. And the quilt itself came from Fast and Fun 3-yard quilts from this book. I think that's actually it on the front too. Ooh, that's a glare. And this one is called Garden Path. Yeah, it was the one on the front. And you literally just use 3 yards of fabric. You have 3 1-yard cuts. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. And then you subcut them all, and so you use fabric 1, fabric 2, fabric 3, and you make your quilt with that. And she goes into detail easily how you make it. So that was it. So because I really want to try the Quilter Chicago, and I don't have my backing fabric for the Design a Mystery yet, I haven't bought it, I can't start sewing up those blocks. And I thought, well, what else can I do is there anything I have background fabric for? And yes, there is. I had bought, which is why it's like stunning that I haven't finished this yet. I had bought this background fabric, like 3 or 4 yards of this, to do the background fabric on the quilt, on this Garden Path quilt. So here is what it looked like before I took all the edges off. So what I did, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. So what I did with this was I took off yesterday, I sat and took off the inner binding, the inner border, I mean, took it all off. And then I pressed it open with Mary Ellen's Best Press, because when I made this, I was not starching fabric. Now I starch all my fabric. So this was very flimsy. You can see it's very flimsy. And so I thought, if I'm going to restitch this, I need it to be good and solid, good and stiff. So I use Mary Ellen's Best Press and press them all open. You can see my seams. There was where the seam was. So I pressed them all open. So I had to take 4 borders off. So there's 4 lots of these. And then the outer borders. So I had to pick all these off. You should have seen how much thread was on my lap when I'd finished. And I know this is probably ridiculous, but I really wanted to practice. And I thought, well, hey. And I had the backing, and I wasn't going to try to attempt to put that whole thing through my big sewing machine, through my little sewing machine. So I did all that, and I best pressed this too to get all my seams open. Some of them, here's another border, because you have borders on the top, borders on the bottom. And some of them have these really cute, like cornerstones. I did find though that a lot that like here's some here. It frayed a lot, which again, if I had starched this originally, I don't think it would have frayed this much. So I got all my borders off. So I got all these off. And then I took off row 1. So I took row 1 off, and I took that off. So there are still 5 here, and here's the 6th one. So I took that, and I'm just going to do a row at a time because I'm so fed up of unpicking by the time I finished. So my plan is to diagonally stitch. I cannot do this. Diagonally stitch the single blocks, or maybe do some whirly things. And on these, again, I'm going to do some echo stitching. I really like echo stitching. So that's what I am going to do. Hey, Sue Ellen, how are you? Oh, you just missed all my lovely showings about my around the kitchen table. I'm gonna have to go back and watch. But yeah, so this is gonna be the first block. And interesting enough, I noticed when I was unpicking, some of the seams came undone. So I'm gonna have to reinforce the seams again before I start. So this is now ready. I cut myself a strip of the backing fabric. So that will get laid down the wrong face down. So the wrong side is facing me. Then the batting fabric will go on. And then this will go on. And so this gives me the idea. So the other one, I want to do the design and mystery. So it will kind of look like that. One moment, please. It'll kind of look like that with the batting underneath it. So then I figured I could easily put it under my machine and sew it like that, each block at a time. So this way, your back of your quilt looks like you have not done it as a quilt as you go. And so does the front, right? So this way, it's easy to, and then you then just you'll just have a few strips widthwise, which when we're quilting and we use backing fabric, you often have to do a different section at the back, right? So it's not always, unless you use wide back. So that is my plan, to try and learn this one and do it as one single strip to see, do I like the strip method, or do I want to try a block at a time and use the join at the back for each individual block. So like it's going to be fun to try out each one and see which method I like better, because I think going forward, I think it's the only way I'd be able to do Quilters Go. And I'm hoping, um, and to sew all my quilts together, because I have another huge quilt and it's 16-inch squares. And again, so it's the same size as this design and mystery I'm doing. So again, that is going to be a huge one. And that's all put together at the moment too. So I'm like, okay, well, but there's no border on that, I don't think. Oh, there is. But I'm like, okay, so do I want to take all that apart like I did this one and sew them all as a quilter should go? So I'll see how much faffing this takes to do to decide whether that's what I want to do or not with the big, big one. But then because I haven't put these blocks together, this will be an easier way to go. And I definitely, when we find out how we're going to put our around the kitchen table together, still baffles my mind. I want to know, like, could I? So swelling, can I do quilted to go with around the kitchen table or not? Will that work or not? I'm just like, oh, do we end up with rows at some point? It's going to be so interesting, so interesting. So that's oh, and then I did clue 5 of which of course I did put it on, show you how I stitched it online. But as I said, I had some ridiculous issues with uploading. So what it probably not in this one. It's definitely a puzzle. Oh, you're a That's okay though. That's okay. I am so excited about this. I can't wait to get it finished and see how it's all going to go. And the story, oh my gosh. So it took me forever to figure out the block to the story. And I was like, okay, I don't get it, because now the lady's moved, or the table's gone somewhere else now. So I thought it was all about this lady and her family. But no, it's actually about the table. And the fact that the table is now gone to another family with more stories around it that they tell. And then it was fun. It's really fun, but it's like, gosh, I love puzzles so much. And so it's really fun to see where we're going with it. Anyway, I'm not saying any more about the kitchen table. So Cotton Cuts, I am an ambassador with Cotton Cuts, and what they do is each month they send you out a package of fabric. And again, this is a mystery, because I like a mystery. I know the book is good. And so this one is the color that I chose, daffodil. And the nice thing about Cotton Cuts is when your clue comes in your little package like this in the mail, it's all pre-cut for you. So you don't have to cut anything. You don't have any leftover fabric that you don't know what to do with, put it in a scrap pile, whatever. You don't have to worry about it. It's already little triangles, little squares, big triangles. And basically all you then have to do is put it together. So this is how clue 5 finished. And yeah, I had to make 2 of them, but you have enough fabric. Isn't that cute? Look at those bears. You have enough. Look at this little guy peeking out. You have enough fabric to do the 2. And there's the other one. And so these are really fun. And again, here's my back. They tell you which way to press your seams, because at the end of the day, we have no idea where this is going to go in the grand scheme of our quilt. This could be a border. This could be the center block. This could be the top left hand. I have no idea where this or this, because there are 2 of them, are going to go. No, I don't know. I have no idea. So these are a lot of fun to do, and I do now this particular one. So this is clue 5, and they go up to clue 10, and clue 10 also includes your binding and border fabric to make the quilt. And they give you this at the back of your little piece of paper, which tells you which are your, so similar to what I just showed you from the around the kitchen table, so you know which colors you're using, um, and how they go. And then there's a little instruction and tells you when all clues are coming out. So our last clue, clue 10, will be November 3rd. So I'm all caught up with this one. This is the clue 5. And I do have a code for the upcoming one that I think starts in July, because I normally have 2 going at the same time, a summer one and a winter one. And I will give you the code. I can't put it on the screen because, oh, I might be able to type it in the thing. If I can type it in the comments. So it's N Carnival. That is the code that you can use because they're new. So long it's called Carnival. And if you use that code, you get a free gift in your first in your order. I have no idea what the free gift is going to be, but you get a free gift. So that's kind of cool. And they graciously send me the fabric and the kit, the quilt, so that I can sew it for you and show you and talk to you about it. So thank you, Cotton Cuts. And if only my camera was working properly, I would have been able to show you me putting it together. But I couldn't. So you'll have to wait till next month's to watch me put it together. So yeah. So that's all I have for you today. How long have we been on? Oh, nearly an hour. Does anybody have any questions? Let me put it out there that way. Do you like the lives better than the others? Do you just want to do some chatty videos like this? Do you want me to show you more sewing videos? I don't know. You have to tell me because I don't know. I can't read your mind. I'll just drink some more of my cold tea. So anyway, yes, that's all I have for you. No questions? Everybody's good? Excellent. Well, I shall let you go. I'm going to go upstairs. Today is my little Evelyn's first birthday. Yeah. My granddaughter. Oh, thank you, Swellen. My granddaughter is 1 today. Yeah. So I have 3 grandchildren. Tristan is 3. You all know about Tristan. And he lives in the next little town over. And to us, he's about 15, 20 minutes away. Called us yesterday. Nana, can I come to your house? No, you can't today, hon. You have to go to daycare. But Nana, no, you have to go to daycare. Nana's busy today sewing. So there's Tristan. So we normally get him once a week or so. And then he has a little sister, Evelyn, who is turning 1 today. So that's exciting. Tomorrow we're going to the birthday party. And then my other son, who lives in Nova Scotia, he has Leo. Leo's 18 months old now. And he is going to have a baby sister or baby brother in November. So we all know where I'm going in November. What if I can take my sewing machine? No, wait, she's got one. All right, I'll have to take some stuff with me because you don't know how long you're going to be there, right? Oh, I'll have to be there a week or 2 before. But anyway, that's all I've got for you. I'm waffling. I shouldn't do any more waffling. I'm going to go. I'm going to have a really hot cup of tea now. And the only nice thing about doing a live is I don't have to edit it. It's up right away. Okay, I'm going. I'll see you Monday for some knitting, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye. Thanks for joining.